When it comes to health, how do we decide who we're going to listen to and who we're not going to listen to? That's what we're going to talk about today. So I saw something here recently that got me thinking, and I wanted to bring it to you and hear your thoughts on it and just have a little discussion about it. So I saw a couple dietitians talking online about an article, and the article was like a top 100 list of health influencers. And so, you know, it was all about people who are very influential in the health space, not necessarily whether the stuff that they're promoting is accurate or helpful or harmful or whatever, just based on their influence. And so the dietitians I saw were talking about, you know, is that a good idea? Should we have a list of people just because they're influential when a lot of these people may be sharing stuff that could actually harm people or at least isn't accurate information? And that's a whole discussion we can have, like, you know, the merits of this list and whether it's a good idea or not. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about with you as far as this list goes. What I want to discuss with you is the idea of influence when it comes to health and how we decide who we're going to listen to when it comes to our health information. Because this is an area where I see, I don't know, just a lot of confusion, a lot of things that concern me, and just I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it, how you make these decisions. Because when I looked through that list, I saw a lot of people on there that I was like, yeah, I'm really happy that person has a lot of influence because I think they're great. I think the stuff they're sharing is awesome. It's really helpful to people. They're sharing accurate information, all that kind of stuff. And then I saw some people on the list who I would put in the category of kind of like scammers, like people who are taking advantage of people's fear or who are promoting ideas or products that are inaccurate, sometimes could be harmful to people, that sort of thing. So there was this mix of, you know, influential people, some great, some I don't think are so great. And so it got me thinking about it and wanting to know what you think as well. So let me know, how do you decide who you're going to listen to online, or you know, health professionals that you're interacting with face-to-face as well? How do you decide if someone is a good source of information or not a good source of information? And there's a lot of factors involved here, but I want to hear your experience with this because it is something that we've always had to navigate to some degree. You know, you have your personal doctor maybe that you go to, and you might decide, I think this doctor, like, they're a doctor, but I don't know if they're the best doctor, or maybe your doctor is really great. You know, so you're kind of making those decisions. And then, you know, there's always been, not always, but for a longer period of time, we've had kind of celebrity health people, whether they write books or they put out, you know, workout DVDs or whatever. But I feel like now, because of the internet and all the tools we have, there are more of these people that we have to kind of sift through. I'm one of them, right? I'm a health professional. I'm a dietitian, online trying to share some general information and be helpful to people. So I'm someone that you kind of have to sift through and say, what do I think? What do I not think? You know, all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot more people outside of me, a lot of them on this list, who, you know, are there because of all the tools we have now. And so it's kind of just increased the number of people that we have to kind of sort through and kind of say, okay, who are they? What are they talking about? How do I know if what they're sharing is true or not, or if it's going to be helpful to me or harmful to me, or just kind of, you know, neutral or whatever. And there are a lot of things that we have to be aware of, I think. Things that, you know, we're consciously deciding when we're evaluating, but also things that are kind of unconscious that we have to bring out and be aware of. And it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. You know, of course, I would hope that people are looking at credentials. I think a lot of times they're not, especially based on this list. You know, does your person have an actual education or expertise in the area that they're talking about? Or are they just someone who, like, tried this one thing themselves and it seemed to work pretty good, so now they're going to tell everyone that they should be doing it and it's the secret to a happy, healthy, wonderful life or something? So credentials matter, but also just because someone has a credential doesn't mean that they're right. You know, there are lots of people who have credentials and then share incorrect information. And there are also people who maybe have a credential in one area, but then are talking about another area. So they kind of put up their credential like, look, this is proof that I'm smart and know what I'm doing. But, you know, it's just like, I'm a dietitian. That doesn't mean that I'm an expert in everything. It means that I have education and training in nutrition, but that doesn't make me a heart surgeon or whatever. You know, I might know a little bit about what heart surgeons do based on what I see out there. Maybe, you know, if I was a hospital dietitian working with a heart surgeon, we would have, you know, some sort of communication, but obviously I can't do their job. So there's some of that where people hold up a credential but then are speaking about something that they don't know anything about or is outside of their scope. You know, it's kind of a mixed bag. And then, you know, of course we have the people who have no credential and who are just talking like I mentioned earlier. Then we also have the way people talk, you know, people who just speak with authority. They sound like they know what they're talking about, so they must know what they're talking about. That's a thing. Also, people who kind of know just enough to confuse you or make something sound right, but they're not sharing the full picture either intentionally or unintentionally because they don't know what they're talking about. There's also kind of the likability stuff, you know, is someone generally attractive or nice to look at? That is a factor. We judge people based on the way they look or the way we think the person talking about this thing should look. It's not even necessarily attractiveness, but when I think about an expert in XYZ, I think they should look like this. And if they don't look like that, then I don't think they're as credible, whether that's a conscious decision or just an unconscious thing going on in our mind. Also, just the likability of someone. Does that person seem nice? Do I just generally feel like I like them? Would I want to hang out with them or be friends with them? That's a factor, which I don't think that's, you know, necessarily a bad thing, especially when we're talking about maybe your personal doctor. Like, you want to have a good relationship with that person where you like them and you feel like you can talk to them and you feel comfortable asking them personal questions, maybe bringing up things that maybe are very personal to you and you wouldn't want to share with other people. So it does matter, but just because we like someone, again, doesn't mean that the stuff they're sharing is helpful or is accurate. And then there's also what we already think. So if someone is saying stuff that we already think or believe, then we're more likely to kind of listen to them because they're confirming what we already think. And we might not want to listen to someone who's saying something that we don't agree with or that doesn't align with what we already think is true. So those are a lot of things just off the top of my head that I see go into this decision-making process. And it's hard too because I think we can get like decision fatigue. You know, you cannot be an expert in everything. So you turn to experts to get information because we can't be experts in every single topic. That's why we have specialties, people who really know something really well and hopefully can help the rest of us in all kinds of areas of life. So you can't do that, but you also have to kind of just make these decisions. And also you don't have all day to look into someone, every single thing they're saying. So it's complicated, it's difficult, and like I said, I don't have like a right answer to this. It just got me thinking a little bit more about influence and how we decide to listen to people, and I want to hear what you think about it. How much do you think about it or not? Is it just kind of like an intuitive thing? You're like, oh, they sound right, that sounds good, or do you really dig into this kind of stuff? I want to hear all of that and just kind of open up this discussion with you. And if you happen to be new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and videos like this one, then make sure that you subscribe because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And if you want to watch some more videos, I have a couple linked over here that you might like. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.